Look what you did, you little jerk!
Welcome back, Jerk Faces, to another episode of the Circle of Jerks podcast. With us today, we got, as always, we got Andy, we got James, and we have a new guest, Brandon Wright, who's our special guest for today. Tell everyone hi, Brandon.
What's up, everyone?
Now,
Jerk Faces.
That's right.
So Brandon is a great friend of mine, great friend to the podcast team. I've worked with him in the past. We've spent many nights going out on adventures, and we have a lot of funny stories to tell, and that's why he's on the podcast, just to share some jokes, share some laughs, and to have a good time, talk about what's been going on in his life. We haven't seen him in a while because he is a father, so he's busy with that now.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm now kind of a hermit because of that.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I mean, his daughter's 3 years old, but she's not out of the house taking a job and all that stuff yet. So what a loser.
I know. I'm trying to conform to like child labor laws and things, but
goddamn child labor laws. That teaches the kids.
It's holding me back. It's holding me
back.
back.
How old is she? And she's not, on the corner hawking chiclets or something?
Not yet. It's I'm trying to sell
some
of her
ideas,
artwork,
man.
That's it. Yeah,
No,
right.
man, give me ideas.
Yeah, keep throwing ideas at me.
Exactly,
Everyone just let me
chiclets.
know how I can exploit my child.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, there's always like the boardwalk. Like you can kind of hawk your. You're like, I'm a poor dad. I have a child. You can,
Give me a sign. Say,
Yeah.
Let me feed my baby.
dive deep, guys.
Right.
So, anyways, Brandon, I've known you for God. It feels like forever now. Like what? It's been almost 10 years now, right?
2007, I think. 2007, 2008. Yeah. So close to
Yeah.
10 years.
How'd you guys meet? I don't even know the story.
So at my we met at my previous job, and I was actually friends with his sister before I met him, because his sister and I actually started on the same day.
Then I had to step in and make sure everything was good.
You
gotta watch out for this guy.
The guy
That's right.
that was in his position before was left, and so they hired on Brandon, and that's how we ended up becoming good friends.
Okay.
And we because the old office building that we
Can't
had.
take you anywhere.
Can't take me anywhere. It's a good start. Just had that spill.
Oh, good job. So the old office that we used to have, we actually worked pretty much like back to back. Like so, it's a lot of just we got to know each other pretty well that way, and it got to the point where we just had a bunch of back and forth, joking around and.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, the office we were in is probably about the size of this room right here, and we had a couple desks just parked back to back or side to back, I guess, a little bit, and it was just, how offices can kind of get, and
Yeah,
just,
I bet.
we went to lunch a bunch of times and started hanging out, and a lot of those adventures, as he put it, is both of us just getting trashed.
That is
That
true.
sounds like Robert. That sounds like
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So-
And so it was, it turned into a really good friendship, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to spend as much time, but damn children.
Yeah.
I know,
That's
right?
what I was
Well,
gonna say. It's
I'm just
it's
kidding.
understandable. You have a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
So-
my daughter is incredible, and I couldn't trade anything to not be with her. So
No,
it's-
no.
Right.
But I'm happy to be here today and chatting with you guys. So.
Yeah. Well, one thing what I remember, kind of drew me. Like I was like, okay, this guy is like pretty cool. Something that maybe people don't know about me is I love good wordplay, good witty wordplay. I like the English language and I like playing around with it. And I remember the first thing that one of the first things that we did, kind of as a fun thing while we were working, is we were coming up with like different. I think it was like the QU words, and like we were trying to like see like if we could, name as many QU words as we could.
Huh.
I remember doing that at some point. Yeah, that was.
I remember that being like one of the first things that we did. And I was like, the first word that he comes up with was queef.
I knew it. Right.
It's just
Was
like
what?
was queef.
Either
was-
that, queef, or
yeah.
queer.
Yeah.
I thought of quiet. I don't know
Yeah.
what else. Quiver.
Yeah.
I thought of quality.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
But that I was like, all
So
right.
you know he's got a dirty mind, right?
Yeah, of
but we
course.
all do.
Yeah.
So I knew like,
It gets in the gutter, you know.
So I knew that was like the
been
first thing that he went to. I was like, okay, we're gonna be good friends. So that
So he likes squeaks, you know. So I mean, that's
all right,
kind of.
all right.
So like, what is one thing that you like remember like where you thought that I was like, all right, this guy could be like a cool person to hang out with.
Oh my god.
There's not much, I know, but
I know. I'm gonna be here. I might be here a while.
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean, growing up, you know, I enjoyed video games and, you know, computers and I don't want to say nerdy type of things, but, you know, I guess you can kind of lump that into categories and whatnot. But, you know, we both enjoy electronics and, you know, gaming and things of that nature. And, you know, talking about, you know, we had several conversations throughout the years of games and different things of that. So I knew off the bat from first few conversations that, you know, okay, you know, this guy, I can hang out with him. You know, we can have conversations about, you know, everything. And we had it just, I think after talking, we had kind of a similar mindset of a lot of things as well.
yeah,
And, you know, that kind of just drew me in. And, you know, you don't want to like try and make too many friends at work just because work relationships can kind of get sticky sometimes.
Right.
but,
Yeah.
But with Robert, that never was a problem. I didn't think there was anything there that would be odd or whatnot. Well, I mean, you know, it's Robert, but
that's the
He
only
is
odd
odd,
part of it.
Yeah.
That is the odd part.
Yes, Robert's the weirdo in the group.
Yeah, well, that's always true. Even with
Yeah.
our podcast group, I am the you know, to be honest, I feel like I'm always the grumpy one of the group. Like where I'm. everyone
you
else-
are definitely the grumpiest person I probably know out of like my age group of people, or sort of my age group of people.
Yeah.
Just in my experience, like especially when you're driving, man, you are the most impatient person I've ever
That is
met.
I
right
noticed
on
that
nail
too.
on the head. Nail on the head.
Like there's like a guy like taps his brake. It's like, come on, get out of the way.
Robert would be like 80 feet behind or 100,000 feet behind a car, but a car is going to try and get in front of him. It's no, we got to gun it. We got
Yeah.
18 car lengths away. No, I'm going to get there first. That guy's not getting in front of me.
It's because I know it's gonna be the reason I'm like that. Well, maybe it's because I like racing, so maybe that's one problem that I I have. But there's certain people where you have that viewpoint. It's like you just know that they're gonna be in the way. Just the way that they're driving, everything about them is like, oh, they're just gonna be in the way, and I don't want to have them in my way. So
I'd
it's
rather cause a 5-car accident behind me than let that guy be in my way.
go.
hey, like I said, one of my favorite race car drivers is Dale Earnhardt. One of those iconic moments was him at Bristol, where he spun out another driver, and all you see is this huge plume of smoke, and then him driving straight through it. That's me.
Agreed.
Okay.
I agree.
I will say though, I have never caused any accidents.
That you know of.
Yeah, that's
I look at
As
my
long as
rearview
you don't,
mirror.
I was gonna say, as long as you don't look in the rear view, you can't see him, right?
That's
ignorance is bliss. Yeah.
yeah.
You don't know.
I actually got pulled over this
Yeah.
past weekend
No, what did you get pulled over for, Andy?
for speeding.
For
Lame.
Yeah.
Did
but-
now? One thing that I remember we talked about. I think it was probably our very first podcast.
Yeah,
was
one of the
your-
first.
was his story about when he got pulled over one time, and the cop looked at his hands and like, oh crap. Did that happen this time?
I
think
less.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
more or
I think
less.
so.
Did you get out of this ticket?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got let off with a warning.
Goddamn handicap.
May as well just
privilege.
tell the full
Yes.
story, dude.
Okay, so yeah, me and James were hanging out, and what was it? Yeah, we were on our way home.
It was late.
It was late at night, like around 3, and yeah. So I was taking him. I was driving down the freeway, and I don't know. The cop said that he was following me for a while, but I could have sworn the cop didn't get on until like close to about when he pulled me over. So anyways, I noticed I noticed that it was a cop car, so I kind of like I kind of took my foot off the accelerator and I started pacing him, right? And then like I was pacing him, and then everything, it was fine. And then I think like I decided to like, okay, fine, he's not gonna do anything to me. So I stepped on it a little bit more, and my bumper just passed his car, and all of a sudden he like pulled back and like and then behind me and then lit me up.
Oh.
Wow.
And then that's what he said. It's like, oh well, you passed me. I was like, my bumper just like went past your car. That was it. I was like,
Maybe
that's
just
not
gonna
passing. I was like, yeah, my bumper went just beyond the length of the cop car, and that was his idea of like passing.
He was competitive. He didn't want you to pass.
Right.
He didn't want that bumper in front
Yeah,
of
Here's the
and then,
Robert syndrome with the racing. Can't get in front of me.
Yeah, and then so I get off the freeway. And I pull over, and then they make their way over with their flashlights or whatever, and then ask me for my ID. So I take it out, give it to him, and then he explains like why he pulled me over, and then like I think he was trying to find a reason to like just let me off or whatever. Because like because he asked me, because never in my life has, because I've been not to be be bragging about this, but I've been pulled over a few times for speeding. But like the cop has never asked me, because he asked me to like put my hand like on the car door, and then lean my head out, and then do like the finger, like follow my finger test. But like I
Really? Inside the car?
Yeah, from inside the car. Like, but then I've never had a cop like ask me to put my hands on the door. Like they would just like tell me to like turn my head over towards them, and then like they would just like follow my finger. But then never like have I like had to like put my hands on the dash on my door.
You had to do that this time.
Yeah,
Just making sure maybe that you don't pull out a weapon or something. I don't know.
maybe I guess.
That's
but
part-
I can't even handle guns. So like I don't know how. Like, what's he like
doesn't
expecting
know.
me to like? Does he think like I like control like guns with my mind?
Maybe, or you're
You
like
never know.
you're like that guy from The Walking Dead that like had that like blade for an arm.
Oh yeah.
Merle.
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 Yeah.
Little attachments.
Yeah,
on
but it was
arm.
pretty hilarious. It's like, okay, and then so he's like, okay, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna let you off with a warning this time. I was like, okay.
You got lucky, man, because if it were me driving, who knows? He probably would have given me the ticket.
These are his
I
pretty
don't know.
ladies.
Right.
Those
Yes.
are his pretty ladies.
Those are
Yeah.
my pretty. Yeah.
I always
these
tell
are
him
my
not
pretty
to-
ladies. These are my pretty.
I always
ladies.
tell him not to rely on it, though. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
glad
yeah,
we
I'll
lucked out. We
I'll
lucked out.
admit, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky.
I don't think I've ever been let off with a warning.
See,
So
right?
once.
I wasn't let off with a warning, but I think a cop got a call to something else and had to let me go.
Right. So like
But-
an actual, like a real crime was
I
happening,
think
and then they
it,
had to go.
it
and
had to
book
be
it.
because it was like
Oh.
2 a.m.
Right, and I was lucky in that because it was CHP. It wasn't LAPD. It was CHP.
Ooh.
Oh,
And
wow.
You're
Yeah,
really
there you
like you
go.
never get a warning.
Yeah,
from CHP.
exactly.
That's what I'm
And
saying,
and you
dude.
know, like CHP are like they're notorious like dicks.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
let anyone go.
So
No, mine was LAPD, but I had expired insurance. I didn't have up-to-date registration, and I thought my car was going to get taken from me and
Oh, wow.
all that stuff. And then he took my license, and I had an insurance card, but it was expired, and everything was expired. And I was just like, "You got to be kidding me!" And I had been playing hockey, and I cut through it was like 2 a.m, so I cut through because I didn't want to avoid a light, so I cut through an intersection. And he must even, I don't know where he was, because all of a sudden see him flying up behind me, and I was like, uh-oh, this is going to suck. So he lights me up, pulls me over, and he's like, let me see this, let me see that. And I was like, okay, my registration expired like 2 days ago. I don't have my up-to-date insurance card. Trying to be like, oh, it's in the mail or something like that. And he's like, all right. And I'm just sitting there like, you've got to be kidding me. And then it's like 5 minutes, 6-7 minutes, and all of a sudden he walks back up, hands me his stuff, and he's just like, all right, drive safe. Jumps back in his car, lights flying on, and just
Damn, you got
goes
really
out of the parking
lucky,
lot. I
dude.
was like, whoa! I was like 2 seconds from my house, and I was like, yep, let's go home.
Thank God, thank
Oh,
God for
nice.
that murder.
I know.
Right? Seriously.
No, but like that whole like oh, it's in the mail. I used that excuse to get out a $300 ticket.
There you go.
Because I was I stopped at a Starbucks to get some coffee, and then this particular Starbucks has a really small parking lot, and so there was no spots, and I was just gonna go in and out real fast, so I parked in the handicap spot, and then I get my coffee, I get back to my car, I get in, I turn on the engine, I shift into reverse to pull out, and then right at that moment, a freaking parking enforcement car comes and blocks me in. And then like she asked, and then like the lady, like the parking enforcement lady asked me, he's like, oh, where's your handicap backer? And then like, just like really quickly, it just came to me, like, oh, I was like, I'm in the process of renewing.
I just haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, that's believable, right?
Yeah, and so,
Yeah. I
can't
but
say
then,
that.
then she said like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you this ticket, and then you could, get it resolved later. I was like, oh man, come on, and then I just said, come on, and then.
Okay, never mind. That's cool.
No, the funny thing is that's exactly what happened. She's like, oh, okay, fine, and then she like pulled in, and I was able.
Man, I
want to
use the come on. That'd be awesome. I'm gonna give you this
I'll do
ticket,
that
buddy.
next time. Come
on. You know what? You're right. You're right.
Pull the Peter Griffin. Come on.
Come on.
I know this guy has a certain charm about him. Maybe he could pull it off. Maybe we can't. I don't know.
But yeah, no, these are his pretty ladies. This is how he gets out of tickets.
They're
all
gorgeous.
The time.
Are gorgeous.
All that handicap privilege.
I know, right? I know. Robert is constantly
Handicap privilege.
keeping me in check of my handicap privilege.
Oh, these are the funny stories that we have on the podcast, Brandon.
Oh, that's great.
We make fun of his handicap. They make fun of me in general.
That's easy to do. Yeah.
Yep.
So, the other, well, like I said, some of the adventures that Brandon and I have had in the past. I remember one in particular. He introduced me to one of our favorite places to go, which is a local bar in town called Pineapple Hill. Great place to go.
Also, it's you, because Robert loves that place.
Robert's
He's
been
always-
there.
he's
Go
always
to.
I used,
always.
I used
He
to go
lives
there
there.
all the time.
Yeah,
like a couple years ago when the Kings were in the playoffs and stuff,
Mhm.
I would be there for playoff games and stuff like that. But after a while, I moved a little bit farther away from it. It was harder to get to it. And then when I would get there, I would, from the staff that works there, be like, oh, I saw Robert here the other day. Yeah, I saw Robert here. I saw Robert here. I saw Robert
no.
here.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh my God, Robert's here more than me. What the heck?
Just work there, dude.
If
Seriously.
Side gig.
if Pineapple Hill was Cheers, he'd be Norm.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
There was a Norm there, though. By the way, there was
Like a
what was that,
literal,
what
like a
was
literal
that?
guy named Norm.
No, but like he was there like literally every single day.
Oh, it's like a Norm. Like
There were a few regulars. They're not there anymore, but there were a few regulars there that were
And he would talk
every
like this, he'd be like, "Yeah."
every single day for a few hours drink Bud Light, and it was just, it was such a thing you could count on that they were there every time.
Wow.
And a couple of them were cool, and a couple of them were, you look at them, you're like, all right, maybe you should work with some priorities here, but it was just funny. It was like there's like a staple 10 people that were just always there.
And then when they weren't there, it was like, did they die?
There were a couple one of them I actually had to ask because I hadn't seen him there a couple times, and I was like, I forget his name, but I was like, hey, what happened? And he's like, oh, he moved like to some city because of something happened to his family or whatever. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, it was so weird. Everyone, like half the staff was like worried about him. They like had to like try and like find out, and then they eventually found out he like moved, and then everyone, okay, he wasn't like in a gutter somewhere or something.
Did they file a missing persons report?
I don't think they went that far,
The
but
poster's like, have you seen me?
he's on a milk carton or something like that.
Wanted dead or alive.
Owes the tab.
We were gonna retire on that tab.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe they could be our first sponsor, man.
Yeah,
we could just
I know, right?
There you go.
Shoot,
Every
seriously.
episode mention
'cause
one thing about
because every time we come,
Shout out to Pineapple.
we help. We
like
help
every
them out.
time,
They could help us out.
every time we've come to record the podcast or whatever, we usually afterwards we go and
Yeah.
eat at Pineapple.
Yeah, that's true. We do.
So
It's a great place.
yeah.
The food is great, man. But
Yeah.
I remember.
Shout outs to Pineapple Hill.
Yeah, great place to eat, great place to drink.
Yes.
No, I remember like one time we were there. There was another friend of ours that he's like, oh yeah, I haven't been to like a bar before, so like can I go? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Never been to a bar.
Wait, who's
Well,
that?
remember my soccer friend Daniel? Yeah, and
He never been to a bar before when we
No.
took him.
Wait, and he's
Wow.
and he was of age.
yeah, he was of
Yeah,
age.
What the hell is his problem?
that's.
He's just like he's a guy like
Although he probably shouldn't drink a lot. That guy has a lot of anger.
Oh yeah, we're gonna tell that story too. That was a fun night. The
I like
So-
how he describes it as a fun night.
I know.
Dude with
It's
a
like,
lot of
yeah,
anger.
this guy raged out. It was a great night.
It was
Great
it was
night.
awesome. It was awesome.
so
This
we-
is the Daniel that we know.
I
Or
don't know
no?
if you've met him
Okay.
before or not, but it's possible you've met him. I'm not sure. He's a
He's a
sweetheart.
cool guy. He's a cool guy.
He's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy.
He's just the angry drunk.
Yeah. No, he's not
No.
a drunk.
Oh,
he,
he
doesn't
just
drink
has
He
rage.
gets Well, I mean,
in certain circumstances.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
explain that story here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, we take him to Pineapple because he was curious. He really wanted to go, and we sat at like one of the tables towards the back. One of the I think it was like one of the high top
tops.
tables.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this guy that randomly came up to Brandon, who looked like the you remember like Saved by the Bell, the owner of the Max. He
Yeah,
had
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
The crazy, the
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah,
Michael
the
Richards
magician.
hair.
Yeah, he was a magician in real
yeah,
life.
Yeah, the crazy Michael Richards hair, the glasses, and everything. And he comes up to Brandon. He's like, "This is the guy. Yeah, you're the man." And it's like, and he was just like, really like, wired or something. We couldn't tell if he was drunk or what. And then all of a sudden, he whispers something to Brandon, and Brandon's like, "No, I'm good."
No, he came up. There was a song playing or something. He came up, slapped my back. He's like, "This is the guy. This guy knows what's going on, right? This guy." And I'm just like, "Yeah, man, sure. That's cool." And then he leans in. And he's like, "Hey, man, want a bump?" And I was
What?
like,
Okay.
nope, I'm good,
No,
thank you."
because that has like, well, at least two like connotations.
Oh, and that,
We
that was-
don't know which connotation was the
'Cause he
the
went-
offer, but
Right.
After that, he went straight to the
he went
bathroom.
straight
Oh,
into the
okay.
bathroom.
Oh, okay.
So,
No, see, like,
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
yeah,
So
again,
still
still
two
ambiguous. Yeah, still ambiguous.
still,
Still
had I
ambiguous.
followed, we still don't know.
We don't know
So
which
Brandon
one.
was like,
Which
you know,
bump?
And the funny thing was, Brandon's like, "Dude, I really need to go to the bathroom, but I do not want to go until I."
It was like he came up literally, I think, as I was saying, "Hey, I'll be right back. I'm heading to the restroom," and then he just said that, and I was like, "I think I can hold it a little bit. I'll wait till I see that guy come back out."
Well, I remember you
'cause
saying it's like, "I'm curious, but I'm not curious enough to figure out what the hell is
Which
going
one?
on in there."
I'm not worried
What the
enough about
context
it.
was.
My
Yeah,
assumption was
seriously.
drugs, but I didn't want to confirm that
Right,
theory.
Yeah. You didn't. Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't worth it.
No,
No.
not
Well,
with that
It's a
guy.
mystery. Yeah, yeah.
Not with that guy.
And the funny part is, because Brandon and I knew because we were there all the time. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. Well, didn't Daniel was like
Daniel has like, "Oh man, you guys know that guy?" And we're like both in unison. We're like, "No."
No.
He's like, "Oh, do you know
I've never
him?
met this guy before.
You know that guy?" What? No.
One of the other great things that we always had a great laugh about too is this is before they renovated their bathrooms. Is there was this long string of, how like people graffiti the bathroom. They create like this whole like long list of like this conversation that's done in like marker that's done on the wall. So there was Stallone is Stallone is Gap or something like that.
Stallone is Gap, I think, was the original.
Yeah.
Stallone?
It was Stallone
Like-
is gay. Then
yeah.
someone scratched out the Y, put Stallone
I mean,
is
it is a
Gap,
P.
and then question mark. And there was something else.
Other people started asking questions underneath it, like, "What
Turned
is
to a thread.
Gap?"
Yeah,
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 bathroom thread.
right. Yeah, it came. Yeah.
And so
It's like a Reddit thread in real life.
Real life
It was-
Reddit thread.
And then there was also you can tell someone was drunk enough, but they were doing the math to figure out if this person was actually 21.
Oh,
like
yes,
this chick
that was
they were trying
Oh,
to-
incredible.
like they had like the year, like the,
Yep.
like the current year. and that-
yes, that was incredible.
That was that like.
Oh man.
I need to know this chick's at least 21, like before I bang her. Like, there was that type of math that was going on.
Yeah, that was
Oh man.
a gem right there.
Both
Came
those-
out and told Robert.
Gosh.
I was just like, "Dude, you need to see the fun things that happen in the bathroom. Apparently, 'Cause
Apparently.
someone is just doesn't understand
Wait, did-
math."
Before they renovate the bathrooms, Was it always because right now it's like single use.
No,
Was
so
before was it multiple? Was it?
It was multiple use. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Well, right now they have the toilet, and then they have the urinal.
Right.
But two people go in there and
Okay.
still
Because
do it,
they
even
have-
though there's
Well-
no doors and everything. But it's far away from
They
each
used
other.
to.
But
They
it
used to have the block off for the.
yeah, they used to have
Oh,
just
they're like,
two
yeah.
toilets,
Mhm.
and then there actually was barriers and doors and,
Mhm,
and all that
right,
stuff.
Right.
And
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
they had a urinal.
No, they
They had to have.
No,
'cause
they
I think
still
that's
have.
by
They
law.
still have the urinal now. But yeah.
No, but I mean back
In
then.
the guys' bathroom, I don't remember ever seeing a urinal. There's always just like a regular seated like toilet.
There's a urinal. There's some sort of weird like law that at a place that serves
Places
alcohol,
that
they
serve
have to
alcohol.
have a urinal along with the toilet for some stupid
Yeah.
reason.
Good to know. I never knew
It's
that.
it's anywhere that serves alcohol for like selling consumption and stuff like that. Because I used to work at a Pizza Hut a long time ago, and we served beer because we had dine-ins. And
Oh,
at
yeah.
some point, all of a sudden, there was construction in the bathroom, and it was single lock door and everything. But there was a toilet, and then they had to pop a urinal in there. And we're like, what was the point of that? And they're like, oh, it's some law. If you serve alcohol now, you have to. There has to be a urinal in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's some weird ass like law. I'm curious. Like I understand the law, but I'm curious. Like what was the point of like, what was their like thinking behind that? Like, I know like one of them.
You're too drunk to use a regular toilet.
I
Here's
know,
this
right?
one you have to stand next to.
Yeah, here's the one you have to
Here's one
stand
that's
up
gonna
in front
splash.
of. Yeah, so you don't like get the seat.
You know well, in some not I haven't seen it at Pineapple, but like there's some places where people take dumps in the urinal. That's
Oh,
so gross.
That's fun.
jeez.
That sounds like
Jeez,
that's a
come
party right
on.
there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Pineapple's bathrooms now, I just feel are so atrocious, all the time. They have
They used to have someone taking care of
the
the bathroom
sink.
for a while.
The sink is fine, but there's like never any paper towels. They have no paper towel dispenser. It's now just someone just opens up and pops a thing on there. I'm really not giving a good review of Pineapple.
They'll never sponsor us now, Brandon.
Fix it, guys. Fix it.
Everything's
No,
great, but
it-
their
It's
bathroom.
constructive criticism, right?
Right.
Other
There you
than
go.
that, the food is good.
I'm a
the
patron,
vibe
I'm
is
trying to
good.
help them
Yeah,
out, you know.
exactly.
No, I prefer the previous bathroom, but
I love the bathroom Reddit page that was going on.
I know we don't get that anymore.
It's kind of sad.
Start it up again tonight.
I know.
Here we go.
Yeah, just like,
Name a
Carve it
topic.
into the
Yeah,
wall.
just carve it in the wall, or just take a
It's
piece
like,
of paper.
damn it, it's drywall. It's not really
Like,
like
just tape up a piece of paper and just.
There you go.
Oh, there we
Put
go.
your Reddit handle, like
Right.
write some stuff in there.
But yeah.
Comment me online.
But yeah, no, that was a funny story. It's like this is our friend Daniel. He not the Daniel that we have on the podcast.
That's
from
who I
time to
thought
time.
at first you were
No,
referring
no,
to.
no,
so.
no, not him, not
Okay.
him. It was.
Okay, then I don't know him,
It's
yeah.
another Korean guy that I know that's named
Oh,
Daniel.
okay.
Oh, okay. So now the anger makes sense.
They know Robert.
Yeah.
No. Well, it's because there's this thing called K rage, and it's a real thing. Because my dad has it. I know a lot of Koreans I know that are my age do have it, and yeah, it's a thing to behold. You never want to be the direct recipient of the K rage, but it's like watching a lion eating a gazelle. It's just
Oh,
wow.
It's one of those train wreck things where
Yeah,
you
just
can't
like-
stop looking away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It's
like, what the heck is going
wow.
on?
Yeah, you never want to be the recipient of K
Right.
rage, but to watch it, as an observer, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, so it was our friend Daniel. He's a huge soccer fan. He loves the LA Galaxy, and he's a season ticket holder. And I used to go to a lot of games with him, and he gets the season tickets in the supporter section, so all the hooligans and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Those people are lunatics.
yeah, it's a fun time. Let me tell you. And the majority of those people are hammered off their ass.
Right.
I mean,
course.
they're.
Of course.
But Daniel, he's so into it. He doesn't really drink, so he's not drunk. He's just he gets crazy about it. And so the way it's set up, where the LA Galaxy play, you have one of the supporter sections is right here towards one of the goals, and then just a few sections down over to the right, I believe, is where all the incoming fans their support group.
It's nice. They put those opposing support sections 2 sections away from each other.
Yeah.
Like it's like here, and then they're just off in the corner, and you're looking, and everyone wants to murder each other.
Oh, and it's crazy because people are like one thing for soccer fans, they have like the scarves and, and
the
like,
colors
the towels, and depending on the opposing team, usually like the San Jose Earthquake, which are the rivals of the Galaxy, they're dickheads for one, but the but they look to like steal like LA Galaxy scarves and like burn them and
like
shit
trophies
like that.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, anyways, so Daniel hates these guys, and he's like yelling, "Fuck you guys!" And like, I mean, he's giving the double bird like to them. Like, I mean, he's not even looking at the game; he's looking at them and just this hate stare and like.
And it's over another crowd of Galaxy fans that are actually sitting while this support section. Everyone's standing, everyone's chanting for the entire game straight. There's a guy on like a pedestal leading everybody
with like on a bullhorn,
tearing off his shirt. Everyone's painted. When the Galaxy scored a goal, their smoke bomb was thrown off in like I think it was at our feet because I feel like I breathed in half of it.
yeah.
And but
Dang.
Daniel's sitting there looking at the opposing fans down the row, just flipping them off, screaming at him, just yelling all this stuff. And there's no way they can hear him. I mean, not during the game. I mean, and then there's like Galaxy fans with their kids and stuff just sitting there, and everyone's just flipping off this other section. And it was entertaining. I will say that. It was awesome. And Daniel just gets so emotionally into it and like involved, and it was the end. It was the end of the game, and the Galaxy actually won that game. I think it was like 3-0 or 3-1 or something.
Yeah, I think
And he was just and all the fans clear out except for the support sections because they have to be escorted out. So especially the San Jose fans, they had to be walked out like single file line so that people wouldn't get into these gigantic fights. And still everyone's screaming at each other, and Daniel, we were at the far end closest to them, and Daniel's like screaming, and then one of the event staff or the stadium staff or whatever came over, and he told him, he's like, "All right, man, come on, just stop that." And Daniel, I think, treated that guy like he was a San Jose fan. I mean, it was he just started going off like, "F you, you fucking," all this stuff, and he's like giving him the bird, and that guy's like, "I'm gonna get the police," and he's all, "Get him, then, get him!" Like, and we're just like, "Oh my god, dude, let's get the hell out, let's get the hell out of here."
And he was sober.
He was sober.
He was sober the whole time.
And this was like a stadium official.
Yeah, it was just a stadium usher trying to like, "All right, guys, let's move along, let's move along."
He was
He's just doing his job, right?
But Daniel's like screaming at the fans, and he was like, "Come on, man," and then he said something like, "We don't need the cursing," or he said something like that, and Daniel just lost his shit on this guy.
He was in rare air that
and
night.
I mean, and I think Daniel's dad was there with us.
Yeah, his dad.
And he
So
was like trying to get him, and Daniel's just like, "Fuck you guys." And he's like, "Ah," and he was just going off the whole way back to the car. He's just swearing and screaming at people.
No,
it was just like, oh my god.
I'm like envisioning that, even though I don't know how this dude looks, I'm envisioning that whole scene.
No,
Yeah,
the
me
funny
too.
file
I
line,
could
everything.
completely see it.
Because the funny
see
part
it.
too is like after we finally started walking out, like him and Daniel and I were talking about the game. And it's like, oh yeah, it was really cool. Like, and but he was like he was incensed, and and all of a sudden like I looked away for 1 second because I was I think looking for you, and all of a sudden I looked back, he's gone. He saw some dude with like a San Jose jersey on, and he took off after. It's like, "Get the fuck out of my stadium!"
My stadium.
I know, right?
Awesome.
Right. I know. They always have to take ownership. It was like, "This is my stadium."
This is my team.
Oh my goodness, it was.
It was amazing.
Night.
I thought I thought he was gonna start some sort of gigantic team brawl, and I'm like, wow, this is what you invited me to, Robert. This is the soccer game. Okay, let's go to a bunch more of these.
Well, one that you should have, I really wanted to take you on at one point was when the Galaxy fans, they take the tour bus up
The travel one, yeah.
the travel bus up to San Jose. You started pretty much 6 a.m. and you're pretty much drinking all day, so it's right up your alley.
Yes, it is.
So
I'm interested now.
That sounds like it could be fun.
Yeah.
Way to
Meet a
bury
bunch
the
of
lead.
people, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, some of our fans didn't quite make it all the way up there because they didn't there was one guy that passed out when we because we got up to San Jose early, and he got out of the bus, like sat on a bench and passed out.
Wow.
And they left him.
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
That would have been my
sad,
fear
dude.
right there. It's like, oh, is everyone here? No one says, wait, where's? And then all of a
Where's
sudden,
so-and-so?
But
like,
no,
see you later, guys.
And it was so like where we were sitting is so it's like because we weren't playing at their because they're like San Jose's old stadium was like a junior high school like soccer field that they used to play on.
Right. Because
Um,
no one cares
suck.
about soccer.
Yeah, but they I guess they were playing on I don't remember if it was like Berkeley's stadium or whatever for like their football field or whatever.
Mhm.
So anyways, it was like this like 2-tiered stadium. And so our support section is on the lower level, and we're surrounded by San Jose fans, and it was great because for the majority of the game, Galaxy were leading. We had a lot of momentum, and so the whole stadium was quiet. And so Daniel is talking all this trash to the fans. He's looking up behind him to the other fans and that are waving their scarves and like chanting the loudest, and he's just double birding them. It's like, ha, you guys suck. And it's like, fuck you guys. And it's like, and then the San Jose ends up like tying it up late, and then in like the what's known as stoppage time in soccer, because there's no there's a clock in soccer, but like when the ball goes out of bounds, the clock doesn't stop, but it's they add on like a certain amount of time at the end of the
Oh,
half.
is that what that crap is?
The official,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
official keeps track of the official time, and
Right.
he keeps track of that. And then after the 90 minutes or whatever, they estimate a certain amount of stoppage time. But the game technically could even keep going past that if there's action going on one side. It's really weird.
Yeah.
What?
The rules are really weird when it comes to time.
See, that's why I have no respect for soccer.
Yeah, but anyways,
It's
in
just
that-
ambiguous. Just keep playing, guys. Keep playing.
Yeah, but in that stoppage time, San Jose ends up scoring the winning goal. I mean, the stadium is like shaking it, like it's erupting with all their fans.
Right.
And Daniel's like, "Man, I ain't even looking back, like, because I've been giving those people shit all night."
He's like, head down. I can't watch.
Oh man, it was.
Hey, Robert, could you pull your mic a little bit closer to you?
Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay,
right there.
better. All right. But,
I know. I noticed
Amateur.
you're always kind of like far away from the mic.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's
okay.
all right.
It's better now. It's better now.
Yeah.
This is Robert way back here.
Dude, on the real thing, it's just gonna be like this faint whisper. Just kidding.
You just see his mouth
It's
moving.
just more
Nothing's
work
happening.
for me. It's just more work for me to go and fix the audio later. Yeah, jeez. Robert.
Anyway,
He
that
already
Daniel
set
guy
up
sounds very
all of this
interesting.
stuff.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're giving him a hard time, but I would say
What up,
this,
Daniel?
I would say this stuff to his face, so
I
it's
know,
okay.
you'll
Don't
have,
beat me
I
up
wanna meet
later,
you now.
please.
Yeah, you'll have. You're more than welcome to come in and give your side of the story.
What's he up to now?
He's gonna come in and be like, "Nope, that's about right."
As of right now, I think he's
Like
still
highly accurate.
he's a tennis coach at Occidental College.
Oh,
and here in LA.
Yeah,
very cool. Very cool.
yeah. As far as I know, he's still doing that. Yeah, he's that guy like works out like crazy. So he's pretty. He's a
He's
beat
pretty
bus.
buff.
Okay.
He can back up his game. That's
Okay.
for sure.
So he walks the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talks the talk, walks the walk.
All right.
But yeah, he's a
Cool.
funny dude, and it was just he's those soccer moments were that was funny. That was another adventure that I brought Brandon on.
Uh-huh. That was a great one, man. I was seriously visualizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean,
haven't
especially
talked
like,
about-
especially when especially with like the anger thing and
Yeah.
him being Korean. I was like, okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because the rest of his family, they're so calm and like, well, his sister's a little bit, kind of, also has a little bit of that like feistiness, but like his parents are so nice, they're so calm, and it's like,
His dad was like the complete opposite of the game. He was just trying to like, come on, Daniel, let's get the hell out of here. Like kind of like what we were doing. But he was I think at one point when Daniel was still screaming at the official, his dad I think walked off. And, like, he was just like, I'm not with these
Yeah,
guys.
I'm done.
I don't know
with
who
it.
that is.
Say,
I'm
done
not with these
you.
guys
I'm done
anymore.
with you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's kind of
Just
the
like
same way.
typical Daniel.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the same way with me because like my dad like has K rates like crazy, but I'm very even keel, and so sometimes I was like, it's like, am I really your son?
yeah. I think
Is
you've
your
got-
mom chill though?
My mom's pretty chill,
Right,
although
so-
like yeah, she can like kind of like when she feels like really slighted, she will go off on you. but more often than not, she's pretty even keel as me. So I guess in that way, I take after my mom.
Yeah, I think you've only gotten mad at me like really genuinely upset with me like once.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know when.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, do
Yeah.
tell. Do tell.
No,
Just tell it. You may as well just tell it.
Yeah.
We're telling. We're
I mean,
telling funny stories.
we were because we were getting ready to film. We had a podcast that we were supposed to film that day, and was it Joyce was here, and she was kind of she was upset with me.
Who's Joyce?
She was being Joyce.
Yeah, well, Joyce is someone that I'm dating right now, and
There it is.
Hi, Joyce.
That was some hesitant.
We all know Joyce.
I know.
Joyce
I don't even
is
know
cool.
if she
What
even
up, Joyce?
watches our content.
Yeah, I know. She probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta
Oh,
tell
yeah,
your girl
oh,
to watch your content.
Seriously.
No, Robert, get her
She-
in line.
she is a subscriber, but she doesn't. I don't know if she wants.
She's got to hit that
It's
bell.
cool. It's
I know.
cool, man.
She needs to hit the notification
Hit the
button.
bell.
But anyways, so she was. She needed to go to the store, and she wanted to. I was like, well, okay, well, we had to go to this one that's like close by because we have people coming, to film, and so everything was, seemed like it was good, and I went to the one that was close by, and she was like, I don't want to go to this one. This one's not the right one. I was like, well, this is the one that we're gonna go to. This is the one that we talked about. It's like, no, I thought we were going to go to the other one, and I got to the point where I was so fed up. I was like, fine, we'll just go. And Andy was like, I could hear him in the back, like I could see him in the rear because he was sitting in the back seat.
Oh, he
I
was
saw him.
he was with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was-
okay.
Yeah, okay, because we were.
So you were in the car.
Yeah, because we were gonna go have lunch, but then the lunch place we were going to was like too crowded, so we're like, okay, let's just go and get the stuff and then come back and.
It was at HK Market, right? There's two
Yeah.
locations, right? So that
Yeah.
people would know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a closer one and further away one, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I see him in the background. And he's like, I could hear his eyes roll, and he's like, he was just like,
could
he
feel
kinda
it,
just,
yeah.
like he went like this, slammed his fist down. I was like, oh god damn it! He was like, now no one's happy. Everyone's pissed off in the car. It was one of the most silent car rides I've ever been on in my
Yes.
life.
Yeah, it
Awkward.
was. I
Awkward
was like-
silence
Yes.
cars.
Because
I've been through that.
I couldn't believe what was happening because I even told Robert, hey, we got stuff to do, so just because he was like we came into the parking lot and then Joyce was like going, come on, and then like immediate out of the parking lot.
Gotta get a hold of your chick, dude.
Yeah, and I just couldn't believe what was happening. I was like, Robert, what are you doing? And then I told him yeah, just go to he's like turn this car around and go back to that one, okay? Because we have stuff to do. And then he's like, but she's gonna get mad. I was like, no, you just did not say that to
Oh
me.
my god.
It's like, no, you just didn't
All right,
say
man.
that to me.
It's learning.
I know, I
learning.
even
I
said
mean,
to him.
we've all been there, but
Yeah.
come on.
right.
I know. I was like, hey, like even like I wasn't there to like back you up. You could have just done it, and I would have just said, Joyce, like, shut up, because we got shit to do.
It worked
See,
out.
that's how a man talks.
It-
Oh,
I like this guy.
but like you were saying, we've all been there. But
Yeah.
he's been there like how many times? You know what I mean?
It
For the last
it did work out though because
27 years.
because it was Joel that was supposed to be on the podcast and he ended up canceling that day, so it ended up working out. But it was so,
Oh,
like
that's right.
yeah. So we ended up. It was just like it worked out. But yeah, it was just,
No excuse though, man. You know now.
There's
you know
no
now.
fixing
Put your
it
foot
by
down.
saying, well, it actually worked out in our favor. So, thanks. Joyce, really thank you for that because, it helped. And
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, at least you're accurate in your prediction that we be making fun of you. This podcast.
There we
that-
go.
that's-
There we go.
that's-
You're not supposed to make fun of the host.
no, I think
Whatever.
that's
Hey, there's
definitely
no
our
ru-
job.
Yeah, there's no rule. Where's it in the bylaws? Where's in the bylaws?
It's the unwritten rules.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Fun times though.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we've had. There was that. That was Andy. That was Andy getting mad at me.
Yes. Yeah, and Robert was like
I
he
can't
definitely
imagine.
felt it. He definitely felt it. Like, yeah, because then like my anger, I want it to be like freaking like Arctic wind. I want you to
Super
feel
cold.
Yeah, I want
Cold
you to,
shoulder.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
Arctic wind.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
want
gonna
to. Yeah,
murder
I'm
you
not.
with my
Yeah,
stare.
exactly. I don't want like a volcano. I want it to be like I want you to feel like the cold.
Oh yeah, it was cold.
That's what happens when I get mad at people. I just stop talking to them and just
Right. I
stare.
know, right?
Just,
'Cause
just
'cause-
angrily, either one word answer or something like that, and it's like I bottle it up. One day it might volcano. I don't know.
Yeah.
Be
that's
careful,
tough.
Robert, because
God damn it! Yeah.
I might murder somebody, and you're my first choice. So
Got it.
But yeah, that day because I met up with him later on.
Yeah, that's
and yeah,
right.
he was pissed. He told me the story, and I was like, "Oh, Robert."
what were you
I was
thinking?
like, again, I was visualizing because I know Joyce too, so I was imagining it happen right there, her whining and everything, you going into the parking lot and then immediately turning back out, Andy like going, what?
It's like waves hitting crashing into rock, where it just erodes you after so long. And I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, fuck it, finally. Like, I'll just
Beating you into submission.
I'll just go to this goddamn store.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, like, me and Robert, we live far away from each other, and we basically drove more than halfway back up to my place, basically, to go to the other market. So,
It's a good choice,
And
Robert.
then all the
Good
way
choice.
back here.
Yeah.
Life choices.
right? You
Hey,
make
all
but
good,
but
though.
but it worked out.
Hey,
Yeah,
It,
worked out
but
at
it
the
worked
end.
out, Robert.
It happened,
It
worked
worked out.
out.
So we're good. We're good.
good.
Everything's
We're
cool.
good. Everything is cool.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you.
I did buy Andy lunch that day
Oh, okay.
because I felt really bad. And then I had Joyce was she was mad at me for the rest of the day.
Isn't that like every day?
That's very true.
Oh man.
It's complicated.
It's always
I mean,
complicated.
relationships are
Yeah.
complicated.
Oh, they're complicated.
Are you the only one out of all of us? Are you in a relationship, or is it just this guy?
That's a loaded question.
Kind of putting you on blast. Sorry, dude.
No, that's all good.
That is a good question. I've always
So
kinda, like,
my daughter's mom and I live together.
Okay.
Officially, technically, if you wanted to say, is there a title? There isn't one.
Mm-hmm.
But we essentially are act in a relationship
Yeah.
and stuff. So I mean,
Are you common law married?
no,
Okay.
we've
Because it hasn't been 7 years.
no, we've been living together for a little bit before Skylar was born.
Okay.
So,
about
not
3
common
years
it's
law,
almost.
buddy.
close to 3 years, I guess. Wow.
Okay, so definitely
Something
not
like that.
common law married.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
at 6 years and 360 days, I'll move out for like a minute and. No, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, like we do things as a family.
Yeah, yeah,
We take her. We don't want her to not see a family unit. So, and I mean, we argue about the same stuff couples argue
Yeah,
about
yeah.
and relationship things, and she and I, our personalities are kind of. I don't want to say bickering to each other, but both of us always have to have the last word or something like that, and so. We'll like be condescending to each other here and there.
Oh
And
yeah, I see that.
there's been years ago there have been some really loud, crazy fighting, like just screaming at each other. But that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. I think we've gotten to a point where we know each other's buttons and we'll nudge them a little bit, but not go, into like crazy mode or anything like that. So and our personalities are very different from each other also. Like, I'm more logic based and less emotional. She is like the complete opposite and has anxiety, and she loses a toothpick and is like, "Oh my god, where's my toothpick?"
We're in the same situation then, because that's exactly how I
But I mean, it all works out, right?
Right?
It all works
yes,
out.
Joyce, it all worked out.
No, but I mean, it is what it is for right now. If it progresses more,
Yeah.
we haven't really talked about
You're
it.
just taking it one day at a time, but
Yeah,
it's
we're-
cool that you're,
Yeah, we want to be there
Everything's
for
together.
our daughter, and
Yeah,
we
that's the
do.
most important
I
thing.
mean, tons of stuff, with her together, family oriented and things like that. And we have friends that have kids around the same age that we do play dates and stuff like that. And then I mean, it's always the kind of like the elephant in the room question is like, oh, are they together or
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
But all of our friends do know what it is, but they all give us shit about like, oh, so when are you going to get together? Or they'll say like, oh, your wife, blah,
yeah.
I know my
Those
friends,
little,
stuff
those
like
little
that.
side comments.
Yeah,
I can
but I
imagine.
mean, it for them it's in jest, but it's still it's funny,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Brandon's got to keep those options open.
hey, man, if it's open, it's open. No, I'm just kidding.
So 3 years, yeah, your daughter.
She'll be 3 in January.
Very
actually.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, wow.
it's been crazy.
Did it go
crazy
by
ride.
fast? Would you say?
Or is it going by fast?
It's now going by fast. Like we got. I don't want to say we got lucky because every baby's different and everything like that. But her birthing process, like Stephanie was in labor for like the labor hours and stuff like that were, we got to the hospital at 3 a.m. and she was born at 9:18.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So, but she didn't even start pushing until like 8:55. The doctor didn't even get there until 8:50. So we were, we essentially, she got her epidural and then we were like kind of resting and stuff like that. And then 8:55, the doctor got there, got his stuff all set up. It's like, all right, push, meh, born. And it was like, all right, cool.
Smooth.
Yeah. And,
This is and this is first baby?
first, yeah.
Okay.
This is the first.
Yeah,
And
because usually, you hear stories like, the first one's, takes the longest, but then like the second one just like slides out.
yeah, I've heard that too.
But yeah, I guess every woman is different.
But her aunt actually, when she gave birth to her all three of her kids actually, she was telling me that she wasn't realizing she was in contractions yet. Got to the hospital because she thought it was like stomach pains or something like that, and then all of a sudden, it was just like, oh my God, you're crowning, and no, I guess her births were so like. I don't want to speak out of turn but this is what I think I've heard. I'm pretty sure I've overheard this is that her births were very simple. Like the kids just came out. No, they didn't. She didn't use drugs. She didn't use anything. It was just there was pain, but it wasn't like what you see on TV where
Yeah.
you're like
I hate you.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. But so since she was born and you got to wake them up every 3 hours, feed them, make sure all this stuff. And our pediatrician. He's really cool. He was actually the pediatrician of her cousins and everything. And so we knew him and everything. And she started sleeping like through the night almost within like a couple months.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, oh, do we need to still wake her up? Is it okay that she hasn't eaten in a few hours? I mean, but our first like appointment wasn't, for I think until our first like real appointment afterward was like 3 months down the road. So we asked him, he's like, she's sleeping through the night? We're like, well, I mean, we put her down at like 8 p.m. Maybe she'll like wake up for a minute, but then she'll fall back asleep. We won't have to do anything. He's like, if that's happening, let it happen. We
Wow,
like,
so she was
awesome.
like self-soothing like that early?
I mean, I guess if you want to call it, if maybe that's what she was doing, but she we were still swaddling her and laying her on her back. She hadn't even started rolling over, but she was 8 p.m. we put her to sleep, and as soon as we told him that's what she was doing, he was like, no. He's like, let her sleep if she wants to sleep. If she's hungry, she'll let you know. And so she would sleep from even when I was working still with you, it was we put her down at 8 p.m. and I would have left for work before she woke up. Like it was like sometimes it would be like 6 a.m. She'd kind of wake up, but then, I'd hand her to Stephanie and like they'd go back to sleep, but she would sleep almost 12 hours for the longest time. And even now she doesn't wake up. Like my sister's baby woke up 5:30, 6 a.m. on the dot every single day, no matter what. And Skylar still can, like even today, 9 o'clock. Didn't get up till 9 a.m.
Oh, she's gonna be like one of those like people that just like sleeps all the time.
Well, me and Stephanie can both sleep all the time, so
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it happening. But yeah, I mean, it's the first few months were really crazy with like all
I
the
bet.
feedings and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was also awesome because we'd be laying on the couch and this tiny little baby is just laying on my chest, like sleeping, and then I'd like fall asleep, and we'd have really like cute pictures of stuff, things like that,
yeah.
and and then a little bit down the road she starts crawling all over the place, and then figures out. I mean, we didn't even practice with her. We practiced a little bit when we could because our apartment, the way it was set up, is hard. But we practiced with her with walking a little bit. But she figured that crap out on her own, and now she runs everywhere, and it's just talking. And
It's pretty
just
amazing
like, oh my
because
gosh.
It's crazy.
it's pretty amazing because lately nowadays babies seem to be achieving the certain like the milestones like quicker. Because
Yeah.
like a bunch of my friends like who've had kids they started like learning they started like tentatively walking, when they're like barely close to like a year.
Mhm.
When usually that doesn't happen until like at least after a year.
Yeah, Skylar was just before her first birthday, I believe. She started piecing it together.
Mhm.
She wasn't completely in control and completely confident in the walk yet until a little bit after,
Mhm.
but she was grabbing on like the ottoman and walking around like
Right,
herself
right,
and
yeah.
like could take like some steps and but it was yeah, she was definitely piecing it together beforehand and then I don't know, for me it always seemed like it was like a snap of a finger, then all of a sudden, wait a minute, holy crap, she just walked across the room like no big deal.
Right, right.
And the way that I don't know the way that they learn, but how much they can learn and how much they absorb and figure out and everything is just, you think about it, but watching it actually happen the whole time is just crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
she knows how to use our phones.
That's what I was just
She
gonna
knows how to
say. These
use-
days, oh my gosh.
She knows what the remote is. She knows what buttons to press. She not quite sure how to do the swiping part of the remote yet because it doesn't show a screen. But I mean, she's all over the phone. She knows what app. I mean, there's 1,500 apps on the phone, but she knows which app to find. And then she scrolls through it to look the video she wants to watch. I mean, it's
Wow.
it's
3 years
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
That's
It's
insane.
the generation.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean, and my mom
Technology.
can't still do that.
I mean nowadays like kids like the gestures for like the your phone or your iPad. It's just like it's kind of crazy how like intuitive it is that even babies can pick up
Pick
on
it
it
up.
like real fast. And like I mean nowadays it's like kind of like second nature where it's like swipe flick.
Yeah. Well, it was funny with the swiping and everything. She gets so used to that we have our TV is on a stand.
Oh, and then
And
she tries
comes
to.
up. She tries to swipe on the Apple TV screen because she knows the apps are all squares and everything. She tried to like swipe and tried to like choose like Toy Story. She's like swiping. She's like getting frustrated trying to like swipe on the TV. And I'm like, no, we got a remote. And then she comes and grabs the remote and hands it to me. She's like, cowboy. And I'm like, okay, geez. We know who wears the pants. Calm down.
So what's
That's adorable.
What's one thing that you are really enjoying about being a dad now? Like what's something that you
There
really,
can't be one thing.
Well, okay, well it's like, or what are some things that you really enjoy about it?
Right now, I mean, the thing is now, well, even a little bit before, but now we can take her places, and she understands, and she sees things and knows what things are, and can communicate with us, sort of what she's thinking and what she wants or what makes her happy or sad or and whatnot. But like, I mean, we're huge. We like going to Disneyland. We're huge Disney. I mean, we took her to Disneyland at 3 months old, and you're like, you're one of those people.
I know.
No, we both had annual passes,
Right.
and it was just something to do to get out of the house and do stuff. And it was easy because we've been there so many times that we don't have to try and get in line for everything. And so we try and do like some of the background stuff that you normally don't have time for.
Yeah, less the smaller attractions.
Yeah, or like all like the food places that you don't really get to go to every time or whatever. And
Right.
we just enjoy the ambience of it and everything like that. But so I mean, she's been quite a bunch, and there's the little kid rides that she can go on, like Little Mermaid or Pirates or stuff like that. But as when she's a year old and she's not talking or anything like that, it's hard to like she's looking and eyeballing things, but you can't really tell what's going on. Now, we're just driving up to the park and she sees a banner that has Toy Story on it, and she's like, Buzz, Woody, or like Monsters Inc. stuff, and she's like, Sully, Wazowski. Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, she puts that. It's not just like, oh, it's a movie, and she has the knowledge, and she's picked up the characters and like knows how they sound. I mean, she hears sounds and like the song from Toy Story, and she'll be like, "Oh, cowboy," or Woody or Jesse.
Okay.
And so like now, several things with her. to where we know that we can understand what she's experiencing it rather than just we're taking her somewhere. We took her to not a water park. I always forget what it's called, but it's a public thing, but it's like got really shallow water. It's got a bunch of
kind of like a waiting like pool.
yeah, but it has like a giant toy system, and,
Right,
like
yeah.
slides and like all these like splash things, and so but it was awesome because she's like loves to swim, and we put her on
Okay.
floaties, and she's like always wants to do swimming stuff, and she's like, and we have friends who have a pool, and she always wants to go over there and go swimming, but it's now she's like experiencing things and talking to us about it, and wanting to go somewhere, and it's just watching her learn and then apply the things that she's learning. I think is really exciting for me now. And it's pretty in a couple years she'll be going to like preschool or something like
Yeah,
that, and that's
right.
gonna blow my mind, I think.
Before you know it, she's gonna be 14. She's gonna hate your
my
guts.
God. F that.
Yeah,
Isn't that
like
crazy?
yeah, a lot of my friends who have had kids and stuff. At least one of them has described like having a child is a dog that slowly learns how to talk.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can go with that. I've played fetch with
yeah.
her a few times, so she's like, "Look, a ball. Throw it. Go get it. Shh. Here, a ball." I'm like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, but that's like the
That's
crazy
my
thing.
girl.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. But kids like kids love repetition. So yeah,
Yeah.
because there's like my nieces and nephews, like I'll like grab them and like throw them up in the air, and then they'll like squeal with delight, and they're like do it again. And I have to do it for like the next half hour.
You could do it 1,000 times, but the one time you're like, "No, I'm tired." The waterworks come out.
I know.
It's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah, because I've
Oh, we're fine.
I met your daughter like pretty much like right after she was born, and just seeing her grow and kind of not all the milestones that you're seeing, but
Yeah.
you're seeing her grow and how she's made that progression. Because I remember, she was last time you brought her over here, she was still kind of learning to walk, and she was holding on to
Yeah.
stuff, but it's like, man, she was.
Last time, yeah.
We had
last
to keep a
time,
hold of her because she was.
we had to
getting
close
into
the hallway
stuff.
doors. She was messing with boxes. She was doing all sorts. And I'm just like, "Skylar, get away. Let's stick in this area." And she's like, "Nope, I'm going to go over here and not do anything you want me to do." And she still does that, but
Fuck your rules.
pretty much, yeah. No, but last time she was here was she was just ambling the walk, getting the walking going, and she wasn't running quite yet, but
Yeah.
it
She
was
still
well
kinda
enough
holding
that
on
she
to
got
stuff.
into if I took my eye off her for a second, then it was like, "Oh, where'd she go?" And get her away from there,
Yeah, 'cause I think what was it? We were doing our fantasy baseball draft.
Yeah.
And so so it was like it would be your turn, so I'd be like, all right, I'll watch her, and and then we would take turns.
Then at one point,
Uncle Robert.
she finally fell asleep, and we like put her on the couch, and we're like, "Everyone, shut the hell up."
Oh, I think
man.
I remember. I think I came over that day.
That's right. We filmed the podcast right after that because
Yeah.
he was on his way out. And
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I hope I didn't come in with one of my obnoxious entries.
oh, like this. Okay, so here's
Obnoxious
one.
entries.
So there was one time. What was it around? Was it like Halloween or something like that we were doing something? We were. James, Andy, a few of our other friends and I, we were all going to do something. We had,
I had my friend over.
who was a girl.
My friend.
And
Nice. All
so
right.
Andy, we were waiting on Andy. Andy comes into the door. He's like, "Rafe Squad." Didn't see this girl that was sitting there. And
Wow, the timing.
And as soon as he opens the door, he's like, "Oh shit."
He goes, oh, sorry.
Um,
Oh, sorry. And then he just
Wrong door.
I was like, whoops, wrong door.
wrong door.
My bad. That's all right. I walked in on you and Joyce in the middle of stuff.
Not that stuff, but yeah. it
Close.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I want to imagine
Yeah,
that.
I don't want to. I don't want
we'll
to.
just,
I don't want that image in my brain. So.
Well, you guys were making pancakes together. You guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Or patty cake.
Patty cake.
Yeah.
Who killed? What was that movie? Who framed
Roger
Roger
Rabbit.
Rabbit reference for you?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's a movie I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
We've been
It's
Andy
a
and I've
good
been doing this thing where for our live stream we watch a movie throughout the week,
Watch
classic
old,
movie,
classic
Okay.
movies.
and so we're always seeing how certain movies. That's where this reference comes from. Like we watch all these old movies and find that's where that comes from. Or we just finished up we did a Indiana Jones trilogy. We did all that. We did
The trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes, the trilogy.
That's all it is a trilogy.
Yes, that's all it is. It's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Anyone tells you different, they're lying.
And then a dumpster fire, after that. I think we're doing,
We're doing Kubrick films.
yeah,
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, but not the obvious ones.
yeah. We're doing some of the more of the B-sides.
The B movies.
Well, they're not B movies,
Oh.
but they're the ones that not a lot of people talk about or watch.
Well, what's your upcoming?
So,
So far, we watched.
Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork
And then we watched Doctor
yeah.
Strangelove.
Yeah.
Doctor Strangelove was very weird. It was a lot goofier than I imagined it was going to be. I didn't
Okay.
realize it was
It's
a
just because
comedy.
it has a drier sense of humor than I think people. Because
I didn't know it was
I
a
think most
comedy,
people.
that was the
I
thing.
think most people know that's a comedy, but then they don't. They think
They don't
they're-
understand the humor.
Yeah, they don't understand the humor. It's a little bit more dry.
I went in it not thinking. I didn't know it was a comedy because I had never watched it before
Yeah.
or read anything about it, and I came into it as, wow, this is really goofy. What the
Would
what the
you
hell's
recommend
going
it?
on?
Would you recommend it?
I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite.
If you are a fan of like dry humor, you'll probably enjoy it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like
Yeah.
dry humor.
Yeah.
You'd probably like.
I'll
it.
There's
buy
this one scene where they kind of it's the president has to inform the Russian premier that nukes are on the way to the country, but then it's like they have like this casual, mundane conversation. It's like the Russian premier is like, you never call me. It's like, I'm busy. It's like and it's like back to back.
Impending nuclear war.
Yeah,
is
exactly. There's
happening.
this impending nuclear war happening, but then they're talking about like you don't never call anymore. And it's like, well, isn't it nice to call? It's like, yes, Sergey, it's really nice that we're talking, but I have something to tell you.
I have
By the
some
way,
bad news.
important news.
Yes.
I think you're a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yes. And then was it Clockwork Orange? Man, that is one of the strangest
good.
films I've ever seen in my life. It
Yeah.
was, very odd, but it was good. That one was a really good film.
I haven't seen either of those movies.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of classic movies that I haven't.
I might understand.
Been able
I might understand Doctor Strangelove, but I'm a little surprised by Clockwork Orange.
I don't know. I enjoy movies, but it just never got to like a lot of the old school, like really classic kind of films.
Mm-hmm.
Just never got. I don't know. Never got around to seeing them. I guess.
What's one of your favorite movies?
Oh man, one of my favorites. I mean,
You can name like 3, maybe. Just curious.
I mean,
How about in the last like 30 years, from the 80s, 90s, and then
oh my gosh. See, now you're putting me
double
on the spot.
zeros?
I don't know. I don't like super like artsy. Or I mean, I might enjoy them, but I wouldn't consider them my favorite. So like, I like movies like The Princess Bride.
Oh,
was funny.
Perfect. Yeah,
You know,
that's my favorite.
that's-
That's my favorite movie.
I could watch that anytime, any day. I could be, on my deathbed, and if it pops on, I'll be like, oh yeah,
Let me
I
stay alive
gotta
for this.
recite all
I know,
these
right?
lines,
Yeah. Like, have fun storming the castle.
Yeah, exactly. Miracle Max.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the top. But and then I like a movie like Willow. I don't know if
Yo,
I
yeah.
remember
Oh,
that.
Willow's
Willow.
fun.
Back in the day. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
see, like that's like
Yeah.
older movies. But
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy movies nowadays, but I don't think the lot have that kind of hold up value. I think, and maybe it's just because of the time, or because of those are nostalgic from my childhood and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm,
But I mean, I grew up with movies. I'm sure you guys did too. But I mean, like The Dark Crystal. Have you guys
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Jim
yeah,
Henson.
yeah. Jim Henson, David Bowie.
Mhm. Was he in that?
Yeah, he played that fruity looking wizard.
No, the other thing, The Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's also an excellent movie.
yeah.
But the Dark Crystal is I don't know many people who have seen it. They actually are thinking about remaking it, but it's
Oh yeah,
it's
I heard there was like a camp, like there was I think some chatter going on for like the last 5 years, or them trying to get that project going, but
yeah.
hasn't
It's-
happened yet.
I mean, it's old. I don't know, if it holds up as far as like, oh man, you really got to see it type thing. But I've watched it several billion times, and for me, even though it's an odd style kind of movie, for me, it's like I enjoy watching it. I don't watch it often, but when it comes on, I'm like, oh man, I remember that. I got to take a look at it. It's an interesting story. What else do I like? I mean, I grew up with all the Disney stuff.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
the Renaissance, the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah.
In the '90s with like Little Mermaid and
Of
you know,
course,
Beauty and the
Little
Beast,
Mermaid,
Aladdin,
Lion
Lion
King.
King.
I remember watching Lion King in the theaters when that came out.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
dude.
Yeah, I saw Beauty and the Beast also in theaters.
Another classic, Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, Ghostbusters.
the real
Ghostbusters.
not that garbage film.
Not
that
the
was-
2016
Not
garbage.
that doesn't count.
Yeah,
That's not real.
That doesn't.
That's like that goes.
That's
that
as
belongs
real
to-
as Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one with Shia
Precisely.
LaBeouf, huh? Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
the
And he
Beast.
was swinging through trees like a monkey.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how someone saw that and thought, yeah,
that's
that
a
looks
good
good.
idea.
Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
We're good with that one.
Yeah, that's a
that
good
take
idea.
is perfect.
exactly.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I mean, even like it's, indie trilogy, Back to the Future,
Yeah.
Star Wars
Oh,
stuff. I mean,
That's something we'll have to do too, Andy. Is the Back to the Future trilogy.
Oh, of course.
I mean, that's all stuff I grew up with, and those ones resonate with me, and are like my favorite movies to watch. Stuff like that.
Very cool.
Mm-mm.
You don't use MoviePass, do you?
No, I don't
Good.
use MoviePass, but I did for a minute sign up for the AMC one.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
thinking of
Oh.
jumping ship to that because MoviePass is they're going downhill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
MoviePass is
It's pissing me
they're
off, yeah.
They've changed their stuff like
Yeah.
6 times
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Now the AMC
no,
one.
within like the last 2 months.
Oh, okay.
It's been very recent. Last year, I mean, it was great. We didn't have any problems. Watched the movie like
Yeah.
almost every other day.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
I
now
watched-
I'm
yeah,
gonna probably
one-
jump ship to
but
AMC.
the business model they have is non-sustainable.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
impossible
exactly.
It is.
without some sort of massive help from something, and I don't even know
Yeah.
who would give them money to be like, hey, just waste it.
Yeah.
Like $5 million in debt, but that's what I
yeah,
heard.
it's like here's a hole, throw your money in it.
Yeah, pretty much. No, the AMC one, it was cool. You can watch any AMC theater. It's all done through the app.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You could reserve seats.
you can reserve
You
your
could watch
seats.
IMAX 3D.
Yep.
Any of that
any
stuff.
movie that
Yeah, I'll probably do that
they
one.
show, and it was very simple. I mean, it's $20
Mhm.
for one person.
Yeah.
There was another company. I always forget the name of it. It's like Cinema
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I heard that too. But you only get like what was it, like 3? Was it 3
It was-
movies? Or 1 movie a month?
It was depend on. They had different levels. The one I had was $20. It was what I liked about it is it allowed for 2 seats.
Oh,
per
that's right.
movie.
That's right.
2 seats
You're
per
able to-
movie, and we were allowed to go to 2 movies a month.
Okay.
But we barely ever got to movies anyways, so it was kind of like okay, and we hardly used that just because of our schedules
Yeah.
with the baby
Right,
and
right,
everything
right.
like that. And so but the problem with that one was the app was terrible. It
Yeah, I
was
heard,
always
like-
it was
yeah, you
always
have to,
messing
like-
up, and you had to leave the app, go to purchase the tickets from wherever you're purchasing the tickets from.
Like Fandango or whatever.
Yeah, and then use their credit card after you tell them the movie time and all that stuff, and then they load the credit card or whatever with the amount, and then you use their credit card and punched in all the numbers and all that stuff. It was such like a huge, and then they wanted you to check in that you were at the theater, and it was such a hassle.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked when it worked, but it was a hassle to get through all of the background crap.
So you recommend the AMC one? Cause I'm leaning
I
towards
do
that.
recommend the AMC.
It's like
I
3 a
left-
week, right?
It's three
Yeah,
movies
that's fine.
every single
12,
week. It's
basically 12 movies a month.
yeah, it's plenty. And
Yeah.
just it doesn't say they don't say this, but I think it's in the fine print. That resets every Friday.
Okay.
So your 3 movies per week are Friday through Thursday.
Friday through Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
So
to
if you
know.
watched 3 movies, that week, once Friday came around, you can pretty much watch 3 movies again. But I mean, they set you up with their point system and all that stuff. And so when you buy movie tickets, it counts towards points. And,
Okay.
then you get.
Oh, so you can get popcorn or whatever.
Yeah, they give you like the little discounts and stuff like that.
That's
I
worth
thought
it.
it was great. I got it, went to 2 movies within a little bit of each other, and then I haven't been to a movie since. So I'm probably
Right,
gonna
yeah. So it
I'm
doesn't
probably
make
gonna
sense
I'm
for
probably
you.
gonna take it off until I can get to movies more often.
Right.
But
Right. Because right now it doesn't really make sense for you.
yeah,
But-
but the only one thing is that it's only 1 seat.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
you can't, since you have 3 movies per week, you can't use 2 of them on 1 movie.
Yeah, yeah.
same
it's just for
day.
you. Same with
Okay.
Movie Pass though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I think they should allow you to
Hmm.
purchase. I want to buy 2 seats to this same movie, but
But count it
because
as
you're
2.
still, it's still using one of
Yeah,
your,
yeah.
your
Yeah.
things. So I mean, I don't see
Yeah,
what the
I mean-
problem is, but
You should write a letter.
I should strongly worded letter. Get your shit together, AMC.
But let's
it only
no,
makes-
let's make our own company and we'll do that. That'll set us apart from those other ones.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll be just like Movie
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah.
5 million in debt. Awesome.
After 1 year.
Going downhill.
Friggin' Movie Pass. Gosh, you ruined like 2 of our evenings, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so bad because we were gonna go watch a movie.
Crazy Rich Asians. We still
Yeah,
haven't seen
and
that yet.
I forgot what other. Oh yeah, we were gonna then watch Ant-Man too.
Ant-Man, yeah.
And so we get to the theater both times, and then we check the times again, and then like completely disappeared.
Disappeared.
Oh, that's right. They have that thing now where some of the
you only
movies
have
you
a
can't
window.
see or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you only have like a few hours to purchase the ticket, and I'm at work. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
leave
You
work to
can't
purchase.
Well, like the
to the
time that they
theater.
offer is like at like 11:30 or something or 12. It's like, well, I only have like some people's like I only have an hour lunch. It's
Yeah.
like I can't
Yeah.
I can't watch a 2-hour movie. In that
Yeah,
time.
all of a sudden.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted, I definitely
Yeah.
we got our money's worth.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
The other-
it was still annoying.
The
One
other one
month?
that I had, the only one other good thing, although AMC has this also, one other good thing is that you would be able to buy advance tickets
Oh,
Yeah,
with the
that's
other
right.
one. That was to me the reason why I did that one over the other ones at the time. I mean, the AMC didn't want to wasn't there at the time, was because I could do advance tickets. So like I could go on to like Fandango.com 6 days before, or whatever, or if it was like some blockbusters coming out and they're releasing advance tickets, I was allowed to do that, and I was really happy about that. But now, again, AMC, everything's through their app, so you can go through, and check
Sounds
the
good.
day.
That's streamlined.
Yeah, that sounds
I like
good.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to do that because I the last time I was at the theater was to watch the Star Wars Episode 8.
Good lord, dude.
Yeah.
Episode 8?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't that
Garbage
far
one.
ago.
Yeah, the garbage one.
I was
Yeah, the
thinking
one you hated.
thinking trilogy or originally or not originally prequels. I was like, oh my god, dude! Holy crap, that was a long time ago.
Natalie Portman.
You and I have been at
I know. That's why I was like, wait a minute. That's weird.
What do you think of Star Wars Episode 8? Because we haven't talked about this movie enough in our live streams
I
or
know.
anything.
It's. I mean, I'm not as crazy as some of the other guys that are like it should be removed from the trilogy, or the people that are trying to raise money to remake the movie completely.
Yeah. There's like a crowdfunding and like,
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh dude.
They're trying to put, and they're like also petitioning like Disney to like, hey, do this again. Like, basically, it's like, okay, we'll give you a mulligan, try again.
Yeah, some people are like, yeah. I mean, there's people that have offered like, I'll make the movie, or I mean, it was some of this stuff is so crazy. But I'm not in that boat, and I'm not even in. I don't even have too many grievances, as many grievances as some of the other people have. I can accept that some of the storyline and whatever. What I don't like, it just the story, like a lot of the story didn't make sense. And from a movie making perspective, it just and a writing perspective, it didn't flow together. Like there were several places during the movie that when I saw it, I mean, I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Or and that's just from like a strategic point of view, from military or with the whole like Canto bite,
Oh yeah, the casino.
the casino,
That-
the casino thing. It didn't make any sense. The explanation that they give to have to do certain things contradicted other problems that they had in the movie. So it was like, I don't understand. Is this the problem, or can you solve it? But if you can solve it here, why didn't we just do that back here? Or it just. And
Yeah, 'cause-
then it was completely a useless situation, anyways, with the result of what happened.
Right. I mean, I understand that it's a side quest, but it doesn't make any sense.
No, it didn't.
And like you didn't even get the person that you went to that freaking planet to begin with, and you got some guy who like just so happens to be a coder too, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
what are the odds of that happening?
And they had one of the most.
And your necklace is the key, and it's like,
Ah,
what?
jeez.
And easily the most useless character since Jar Jar Binks, which is Rose.
Rose Tico.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't like her character. I think it's useless. She, as an actress, doesn't deserve the stuff that's
Right,
been
right.
happening. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the
We talked
vitriol.
about that too, yeah.
that is to me that is just the epitome of awful people.
Yeah.
And
Like again, yeah. Like I hate the character of Rose Tico. I have no problem with the actress Kelly Marie.
No,
Tran.
she's-
yeah.
she's
I don't,
fine.
yeah, I have no. I feel bad for her that she took this role.
Yeah.
Thinking that this was going to be her big break, but it's she ended up being the Jar Jar of this Star Wars
Mhm.
trilogy.
It was like that kid who played Anakin in Phantom Menace. who
right.
got
Yeah.
all
Now,
the
yeah.
Oh my
visuals.
God.
It turned out to be like a druggy like girlfriend beater.
oh yeah.
Yeah. The little boy that
Was
played.
he in any other movies after that?
No,
No.
not
I don't
no.
think so.
Damn.
Who
That's
would
sad,
be?
dude.
I know. I mean, but he was making he's probably getting residuals
Yeah.
off that. But yeah, but it just turned him into like this druggy
Yeah,
wife
he went-
girlfriend beater.
He went
terrible,
nuts.
dude.
Yeah.
No, the one thing that I've talked about this with Andy. The one thing that I really hate about it is, well, two things. Was 7 and 8 to me didn't connect. Like there was obviously
No,
like
of course
No,
not.
there wasn't.
yeah, there was no connection. So like all the story that had built up from 7 and moving on to like a new
Mhm.
generation of characters, well, they crapped all over that.
Everything that was a normal thing that happened, and yes, they were trying to do different things. So me saying the normal stuff, then you can be like, oh well, they didn't want to do normal. But there's some things that translate throughout every film,
Yeah.
and there were times, like the first thing that happened in that film was like right after they took out Starkiller Base,
Right.
and I was like, well, normally there's a time jump, there's a time gap.
Right.
Things have happened between
'Cause-
every film until now.
Yeah, because
You
even
know?
in the time span between 4 and 5, it was at least like a few months.
Right.
Yeah.
Because after like they destroyed the Death Star or whatever, and then like they set up their new base on Hoth.
Yeah.
The
They've been
significant amount
searching
of
for him. And
yeah,
everything.
exactly. A significant amount of time had passed. But yeah, for this one, like they basically just started off where 7 ended.
Mm-hmm. And somehow, all of a sudden, Starkiller Base blew up with God knows how much of their arsenal and people
Right, yeah,
and all that stuff.
exactly.
And
And,
now,
like-
all of a sudden, they have this fleet that is going to destroy, the rebels or resistance. And then this ship out of nowhere, I was thinking what it's called. It's not the Juggernaut, but what was
Oh.
the ship they bomb?
The Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought. Where was that during the first, first
Yeah.
movie? How come? What was that doing? It was just
Right.
hanging out in the
Yeah, right.
distance. Oh, oh shoot, they're attacking our base. Well, we have this, arsenal of things that we can do,
we
but
had we had this entire fleet.
yeah.
But
They should be able to handle it. They're cool.
They got this. They got
Oh
this.
man, that sucks.
Right.
Hope that didn't cost a lot. But and then all of a sudden, the resistance is on their heels, which is fine. They found him. You could have even explained that away as a time jump, saying like, oh, it's been a year, and the First Order's caught up with them now, type
Right,
thing.
yeah.
But and then I don't know. There's so many writing aspects, and not like the story, like the stuff that people hate about Luke or people hate about Snoke and all that stuff. I can roll with that. It's just the things like, Leia in space.
Oh yeah.
That I even can understand
Carrie
what they're trying to
Poppins.
do. Yeah, I can even understand what they're trying to do. It just visually looked ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean,
You know.
the suspension of belief was completely shattered.
Yeah.
It's like I can only suspend my disbelief for so long, and then I see this, because not even like Yoda, was shown to have that kind of power.
You're right.
And then like, but all of a sudden,
And she had no Jedi training. Or
yeah,
anything
like
like
at
that.
least like, but then like
she was
people-
force sensitive, but
yeah,
that was it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's that, and then other writing aspects where it's like they changed a bunch of stuff, like you can hyper light speed through thing, and
Right.
destroy,
Oh yeah, where they
destroy
weaponized
that.
hyperspace. where they
I'll
weaponized
admit that
hyperspace.
was
Yeah.
pretty darn cool.
I mean,
It
visually,
looked
visually,
incredible,
it was
and with
really
and with the
awesome.
sound dropping out and everything, that was incredibly done. But now it makes no sense.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, because
where-
why didn't you just like
why
create
haven't
like
you
little
been doing
missiles
that?
that could jump into hyperspace and
Yeah.
and wipe out enemy fleets?
and it just and then I had other problems that are probably smaller with like some of the way they're like, oh, how come you can't catch up to their ship? How come you can't jump ahead of their ship? Or how come?
Or how can you-
Why is it that all of a sudden whatever you're shooting at them, the bolts or missiles or
Oh, yeah, they're arcing.
how
In-
is
in
it arcing
space.
in space? But then it's like, oh, they're too far away for it to really have an effect on their shields. Why? I mean, what happens from the time that it's fired from the ship, that it gets to that ship, that it's lost
Like momentum.
some sort of like destructive power? It doesn't make any sense. It either can hurt them or it can't. And it just, I don't know. I've discussed this movie so many times with it just. I feel like at some point I'm just beating a dead horse, and I just get frustrated, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Tons
my
of
God.
holes.
There's
Yes.
tons of writing.
Tons of writing errors.
tons of
continuity,
writing.
Continuity errors.
Just lazy. It just felt like there was a bunch of laziness, and they looked at it, or the director looked at it and was like, okay, I want to do something different. Everyone's expecting certain things. Fuck that.
Yeah.
and
I mean,
and he just was like,
I think the perfect metaphor was, in the beginning when we finally get back to Rey, and she hands the lightsaber to Luke, and then he just tosses it over his shoulder.
That was so anticlimactic.
He just
dude.
tossed it over his shoulder.
was so-
that was the metaphor for for Ryan Johnson when,
Yeah.
when he was given Star Wars, and like it's like, okay, and then J.J. Abrams like, okay, this is what I started off with,
it's funny.
and
I
then
mean,
it's like,
this is more on episode 7. It's funny that you say that, because I don't know if you've thought this way, but I've heard from other people that like the first line of episode 7 is the old guy talking to Poe, and he's like, this is now we can start to make things right, or whatever he says, and people have taken that as to J.J. Abrams' little dig at how much people hate the trilogies or the
prequels?
the prequels,
Oh.
where they're like the prequels were the last 3 movies made, and everyone hates them, even though I don't necessarily, but everyone hates them, and this has been like 20 years or 19 years since the last Star Wars movie, and like that was like their dig to be like, okay, now we're gonna start to get it back, get things back going, and then now with the next episode, it's like Luke's handed like Star Wars, and he's like, nah. It's like, all right, way to go, guys, thanks.
yeah.
Was I didn't like how I felt. I'm fine that he dies. But
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact that I felt like his character was fundamentally changed from a character who embodied hope, and it stuck with that. Then all of a sudden lost all that hope out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah.
See, I was actually okay with that in their description, where they wanted to do something different. Like Luke tried to do something, bringing the Jedi back. It was destroyed because of something he did. He lost himself, blah 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 blah. Down the road, I'm a hermit now. I don't like it, like you said, but I'm okay that that's the direction they went. I just think it's a little bit crazy for them to be like, oh, I was going to murder my nephew, and then at the last second I stopped. That I thought was a little bit, where he's with Darth Vader, he's like the entire time, once he learned he was his father, there's hope, there's something in
still
him.
good in
I can
you.
save him. I can save him. I can save him. But in this one, he's like,
He's too far gone.
yeah, oh, I sensed in him the darkness, and there was no turning back. And I was like, that right there was it just was an incorrect way to portray that character.
Yeah.
Precisely.
But yeah, it's like I said, Andy nauseum. We
I know we really have it's on the live stream.
yeah, but
On
I
fa-
was curious because we saw episode 7 together. Because I hadn't seen it. You took me to go see it, and then obviously we didn't see 8 together. So I was curious of what your thoughts were since you're here today.
No, I saw it. It's funny. I play a Star Wars game where we have like a communication between players and stuff, and one of the things was like people on the East Coast would see it, and then we like create a chat room where it's like only people who've seen it. And then as soon as I saw it and I got in there, people were like, "How many people hated this movie?" And like, it was just a lot of like trash talking the movie. And I tried to give it a chance, but the second I was walking out of that theater, I was questioning 100 different aspects of it.
Right.
And it just, and everyone's like, on Facebook, you have like the most divided people on that movie. There's like 7 million articles have been written where it's like Rian Johnson explains what he did here. Rian Johnson explains this. So and so explains this, and it's like, dude, you shouldn't have to explain.
Right. I mean,
8,000 aspects of a movie. The audience should get it. You know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with any good art, I think, it should be pretty apparent what you were intending, and like how you got, and then there's got to be a certain kind of logic to everything that happens, and especially in like movies, there has to be a lot. With the franchise like Star Wars, there's already like an internal logic, an established internal logic, and then all of a sudden, like if you fuss with it like even slightly, then people are gonna notice, and they're gonna call you out on it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the thing that like screwed him over, because he thought that it's like, oh, I'm gonna like reinvent the wheel here, but like no, the wheel already exists. Just make sure it doesn't fall over. That's all you have to do.
You want to do something different? That's cool. Do something different, but don't tear down the building to try and rebuild it when it already exists and everyone likes what it is.
Exactly.
Well, we've talked about this where it's this is our modern day mythology. The story and the lore of Star Wars has transcended its creator. It has become bigger than George Lucas. It's become bigger. To me, it's bigger than Disney too. Disney is now obviously the controlling hand of it, but it's bigger than them too. And to me, it's arrogant that someone's like, oh, I'm just gonna reinvent it. I'm gonna do it. It's fine if you're gonna do it your way, but you still have to continue on with that lore, that story.
If he wants to do it his way, he can make his own movie, and they, where they were originally. Well, I mean, I don't even mean that, but like they wanted to give him a trilogy after. And if you want to do his own stuff, as long as the rules of Star Wars adhere, that's fine. Make your own movie, make your own type stuff. But he took something that was set up, that was the movie that preceded it had so much setup and so many ways that he could have taken what was there and progressed it forward. Instead, it was oh, look at all these things, oh, I could do this, no, I'm not gonna do any of that. In fact, I'm gonna throw all that in the garbage. And it's they're just gonna backpedal and say like, oh no, this is what I tried to do, I didn't want to do this, or everyone's just mad because their fan theory didn't come true. And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm sure there are, but no, I'm mad because
no continuity.
From a movie perspective, the movie was bad. It could have been called Boston Lager Wars, and it was still a terrible movie. It didn't matter. The Star Wars aspect of it, I can remove and still look at that and be like, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Why did they do that? This is ridiculous. And if you can do that with a franchise like this, then you did not make a successful movie.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah, right. Just his opinion. But it is interesting because because the internet is the internet, and they actually dug up an old clip of Rian Johnson. He was talking about movies, and I forget what it was for, but they asked him like, oh, do you want to make like a movie, I forget how they asked, but it's like, oh, do you basically want to make movies that everyone loves? And he says no. And he basically says no. I'd rather have it be where like half the people love it and another half hate it.
He succeeded.
Exactly. It was funny because it was that interview or whatever was done like back in like the late '90s or whatever. You can tell by the quality of the video and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he basically said that what he was gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna take it. I don't know necessarily think. I don't know if he necessarily meant like a movie that he, an original idea that he idea that he came up with, but he did what he said he was gonna do. He's gonna make a movie where half the people loved it and half the people hate it.
And you can tell he doesn't really care what the fans' criticisms or love of it are. He's responded and trolled people all over left and right, saying like, "Oh well, haha, you do this," or all these little comments here and there, and he just basically, I made the movie, oh well, deal with it, too bad,
Precisely.
suck it,
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it from a standpoint from his side. That's like, I made, if you don't like it, that's that's
tough
you.
luck.
But you're again, that goes, if you want to make your own original movie and you want to, bring that kind of aspect to it, then cool. That's a perfect way to do that. But some established franchises that have set rules, set storylines, set I guess lore and mythology and everything like that. You just can't just all of a sudden turn it on its head because you want to, and then now Disney or Lucasfilms has to consider it canon and part of the story because of its and then it's one of the episodic films.
Right.
It just makes it, all the people that say that they're not going to go see any more Star Wars movies, they're all liars, though.
I have not seen Han Solo. I
haven't seen that, but
I
not,
saw it.
Solo.
Yeah.
I saw Solo.
I haven't seen it, but not because I didn't want to. I just didn't get an opportunity to get to the theater.
I'll probably see it
But
at
The
some
Last
point.
Jedi hurt Han Solo
Big
my
time.
God.
big time because of where they put the release date, though. Instead of releasing it in December, where there would have been a lot of cool down,
Right.
they released it in May on the tail of Infinity War. And they just I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and they shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Huge
Yeah,
with that.
and their like defense, like saying, "Oh, it's just franchise fatigue. Everyone has franchise." That's bullshit because Black Panther came out, and then like a few months later, there was Infinity Wars, and both
now-
of those movies did
Broke records.
Yeah.
records.
And then Ant-Man came out.
Yeah, and then Ant-Man came out, and it did well.
Mm-hmm.
So like that theory of like franchise fatigue or whatever is like. It's like, you're not doing it right. You're not doing Star Wars right.
Yeah.
Fix it!
When you fuck up Star Wars, you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to the new animated series that's coming out.
They're
Oh,
they're
yeah, Clone Wars.
they're
Yeah.
redoing Clone Wars now.
Yeah.
They're finishing.
Well,
up.
no. They're doing the last season of Clone Wars. There's another animated series called Star Wars Resistance, which is
Oh.
supposed to be before Episode 7, take place before Episode 7. And I'm also looking forward to the live-action Jon Favreau project.
Oh,
That will be when Disney releases their streaming service, I guess. Advertisement for Disney.
yeah.
No, Jon Favreau was given, I think, a 10-episode or whatever live-action Star Wars series, and his budget for that is just about as much as one of the movies,
Damn.
which is insane for just a TV show.
decent- yeah.
But I don't know if
Seriously.
it's going to be like a half hour, an hour long or anything like that. There's not a whole lot of details of it. And, but it was supposed to be like one of the highlights of their new streaming service they're going to bring out next year or whatever. But yeah, there's actually a trailer. You can look it up. There's a trailer for the new animated series, the Resistance series.
Oh, sweet.
It's a weird set of animation. It's different animation. It's not like Clone Wars and
I
But is
think
it-
I've seen some of the pictures, but it's kind of like
it's
kind of
more animated. It's more animated.
Oh, so it's more like a traditional like
Yeah.
2D animation as opposed
yeah,
to
it's
the
not the
computer
3D.
generated.
Yeah,
3D.
it's not the
Okay.
computer generated 3D stuff. It looked. I mean, it's just a little teaser. It looked interesting though, but
Dude, when they dropped the Clone Wars trailer,
I was so excited.
I was so psyched. I was like, oh, thank you.
yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
James is like, you freaking nerds. Well,
Do you not like Star Wars?
I watch. I'm a casual fan, but
Okay.
I wasn't like.
Sorry for the last half hour.
No, it's cool, man. It was interesting. It was interesting. I was just watching just for the hell of it. You know
We're
what I
like all
mean?
getting
So-
pissed and
this is how Brennan and I became friends because we're big nerds, so that's why it's.
see.
No, that's
I-
cool, though.
I try to
That's
not
cool.
lump it in with nerds, but you know,
We are nerds.
It's. I
fine.
guess that's what you got to call it.
But do you remember, James? You were watching, like, going to movies, like, oh man, I'm so excited to see this, and you ended up like hating it.
Of course. Yeah. It's happened. And with the Star Wars, I mean, I'm not like a huge fan. I was just watching. I just want to be entertained. But I definitely liked Force Awakens better
Yeah.
than The Last Jedi. Yeah.
Word. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one of your like most like hated movies? Like what
Hated
what's-
movies.
Yeah. What movie did you go and say, like, why the fuck did I go see this?
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers.
Yes, but it's supposed to be a stupid movie. But I was in high school. We walked in and we're like, yeah, that was a waste of time. That was pretty retarded. But what else was it? I don't know. I have to think.
Has anyone seen the movie A Civil Act with
No.
John Travolta?
No.
Oh,
Don't.
is that?
He's like, yeah,
Too
it's
late,
my
too late.
favorite. I know. I'm like, crap.
Wait, is that the? He's the lawyer, right? And he's like.
He's a lawyer, and the premise is
like
is
something
that some
about-
town's
yeah,
water is.
Yeah.
I can't believe someone's seen that.
No, I haven't. No, I didn't.
Oh, you
see
didn't-
it.
oh,
I just
damn it.
I just remember from. I don't know why, but I have like this weird memory where I could like remember stupid things, and I remember like the trailer.
For some reason, a friend of mine, she wanted to see the movie. I don't remember why. I don't remember if it was like a John Travolta thing or what. I don't think it was. But for some reason, it was like, oh, man, this movie's coming out. I want to see it. And luckily, we didn't pay for it because she worked at the theater.
Oh, okay.
And so, but it was her, me, and like two other friends. And we sat there and watched, I want to say, almost all of it. And
Almost all of
it
it.
was I mean, no offense to whoever made it because I'm sure it was an important issue and everything like that, but it was the most boring thing I've ever watched. And I don't know people who have even heard of it sometimes, and I'm just like,
I haven't.
Don't ever go see it. It is just it's painfully boring.
Wow.
Speaking of boring, as you were describing that movie, another one was Solaris, that George
Oh,
Clooney movie.
yeah.
I'm like, what is this
That was
movie?
that was actually a
think
remake
I've
of
seen
a
that.
1970s
Oh,
Russian
really?
movie.
Okay.
Yeah, by the
Was
same
that the
name.
one
It was
where
just-
he
it was
was?
weird.
Oh no, I'm thinking of
It
the
was like
American.
in space or something.
Yeah, I was in space on a space
Yeah.
station, and they like encountered this anomaly where it like brought it brought people back to life, but through like memories.
Whoa, what the heck?
Yeah, and like George Clooney goes up there because his wife had killed himself, and then all of a sudden like she's back, but then her memories, like the clone, like the resurrected or cloned version of it, like the memories are incomplete because they're memories from George Clooney's mind.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
And so like yeah,
Maybe I haven't
Concept
seen that.
is cool, but
Yeah, the execution.
But it's
was
boring?
Yeah, it was really boring.
Oh.
Yeah.
It really
I
was.
didn't like it.
no. I think the worst movie I've ever seen was I think it was Man in the Iron Fist by the RZA.
If it's by the
What?
RZA, then I mean, I like his music,
Man in
Wu Tang
the
Clan,
Iron
but
Yeah, but no, yeah, the Man with the Iron Fist. It is. It was New Year's Eve where it was me. It wasn't you guys. It was some other group of friends that I had. We watched that and we were drinking, and even drunk, it was not a good movie.
Good God.
sounds like a C movie, right? Something that you'd watch on
It's like
TV.
a Q.
God, no, it was a D movie.
Okay.
It was Kathy Griffin. It was the D list.
Oh, man.
Dang, that's
There we
really
go.
bad then. But I remember there was some star power in that movie because I know like Russell Crowe was in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you
And,
had all like these like big name actors, but God, it was awful. Oh my God, it was so bad.
I
And
was
it-
forced
and
to
it-
watch it. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Finish
it's
up.
like it dragged on forever. It was way too long, and it was so bad. It's just so bad.
It's one of those. You wasted like 2 hours of your life.
I feel
We've
it's like,
all been there. I was forced to watch 50 Shades because it was a girl's birthday, a coworker, and I'm
God.
like, why?
I mean,
It's
at
like-
least
it's like
there's at least
porno
there's like
seenes
naked
that
and
they try
naked
to
girls
wrap
in there, right? Or what's her name?
Wasn't even
Gets
worth
naked?
it. Wasn't
It
even
wasn't
worth
good?
It. No,
It's so sad
no.
because she's Melanie Griffith's daughter.
the
Really?
actress or
yeah,
the,
the actress.
person who
Well,
did the
Dakota
story?
Johnson.
Oh,
It's-
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
It's Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson from Miami Vice.
That's their
Really?
daughter.
That's her
Huh.
daughter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that was before MoviePass existed, so I wasted like $13.
you wasted real money on
Real
it.
money. Yeah. At least if it was MoviePass, I'd be like, it was free.
Well, I had to see a movie anyway.
I know, right?
Well,
Use
the
it
thing,
up.
the thing, if I remember correctly, about the actual story that was written is essentially it was a group of like sex scenes, and that this author tried to write stories that like kind of connected them
Right.
together.
Yeah. That's what I heard too for the book.
And yeah, it's just so the book is just as garbaggio as the movie.
Garbage.
Garbaggio. I like
Word
that.
of the week. I like
I
that.
know. Word of the week. Garbaggio.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen The Island of Dr. Moreau?
No, I heard that
I
was
have
bad
not.
too.
It was very bad. I walked out of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the remake, obviously,
Right,
not
right,
the
right.
original.
Not the
but
Okay, that's why
The one with
The
Marlon
90s,
Brando.
right?
Yeah, the one with Marlon Brando.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the original. I have not seen the
It
original.
was-
That's also gonna be one we're gonna watch.
The idea is trippy. You think if they remade it now, with technology,
with
and
I
everything,
think with the right director,
Mhm.
it was just a weird.
yeah,
The one
it
that
looked
the
weird.
one that I saw, it was just very weird and odd. And I mean, maybe that's the way the story. I don't remember the original story, but the I don't know. The execution was just very strange, and it was. I mean, it was boring too, and a lot of drama dragged on through it, and it just. I don't know. There was times when the problem was it was boring, and I didn't pay attention a bunch of times because I was with friends, and so halfway through the movie, I think we all just started bullshitting around, and then would look up and be like, "Oh, that's still on," And it's like, it just, and then after a bit, we just got up and had shit to do. We were just like, I don't need to be here anymore.
You have to
we
run
haven't
errands, right? You have to just
exactly. It's like we haven't paid attention to 40 minutes
Yeah.
of the movie, so why remain for the rest? But yeah, that was
That's
pretty
unfortunate.
bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's your most hated movie, Andy?
And I can't say Last Jedi.
You can
Damn,
if
you
you
really
want.
hate that movie.
I really hate that movie.
Well, there you go.
That all right.
There you go.
that can count. That's okay.
I really, yeah. I mean, I just want to know if we're excluding Last Jedi because you know how much I hate that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
No,
what's
no.
number 2 then? What's number 2?
Oh God.
The Last Jedi, right?
Oh,
Yes, I have a top 10.
The Last
list.
Jedi
They're
director's
all
cut.
Last Jedi.
His whole
Last
top
Jedi
5.
director's cut. Last Jedi director commentary.
Yeah, Blu-ray.
Last Jedi deleted scenes.
I don't know if I hate a movie as much as I hate The Last Jedi. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being real.
Yeah, I know you
yeah,
are.
no.
Damn.
He really hated that
I
movie
really
with a
hated that
passion.
movie.
I give
I
you props for
can
watching it twice,
understand
man.
why.
I know. I had to watch it twice to make sure I hated it.
Well, that was the same thing for me too, because I remember when I walked out, I was like, wasn't I supposed to like this?
Yeah, no.
Mhm.
I was like,
Mhm.
I was confused, and I told you about that, and I ended up watching it again. I was like, oh my God, this is awful.
seriously. I was like,
Andy
Yeah.
was right.
I was right. Yeah, guys,
Damn it,
Yeah, because I
why?
talked because I was talking with Robert and then it was the time that I had watched it the second time. It was like and it cemented my hatred for it. And I was like, and then he's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it. It's like you're supposed to hate this movie.
Did you watch it twice in the theater?
Yes.
That was a waste.
Well, because that's because like I had Movie Pass at the time.
There
but
you
then
go.
it was-
well,
and it
there
was
you go. So
still-
you didn't really pay for
Well,
it.
I still did because my app. The second time I
Oh,
wanted to watch
yeah,
it,
yeah,
the
yeah,
app
yeah.
like failed on me, and then
Poor
I was
guy.
watching with them, and so they had to go. They already were inside, and I was like, oh, and like so I just went and bought the ticket.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's so I really only paid for it once, and Yeah, I hated it.
You haven't seen Twilight though, right?
No, I haven't seen Twilight.
I had to watch it because I was dating a girl. I saw the
You watch all these terrible movies because you're
because of the
dating
girl.
girls.
Yeah. Gosh,
Or,
see,
yeah.
see what I do? No. What was it? The Break of Dawn or something like that?
Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn.
The break it down.
I don't know. Break of
Yeah.
Dawn. Breaking Dawn. It was.
the Twilight movie.
It was
Okay,
terrible,
right.
man. Yeah, like at the end, it just ended up being a dream or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I heard like the fight, the
Yeah,
end,
it
the
was just
end
a
battle.
dream.
It was just like what if, like one of those what
It
if.
turned
Yeah,
out to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like
It's
her
stupid.
future premonition if
Yeah.
they came
Yeah.
if they went going.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen it or anything.
Not that he read, not that he's read the books or nothing.
Alright.
You know, where he
Signed
has
by
like
the
Not that I have a
Signed by the
shrine at
usher.
home or anything.
Yeah.
What's your most hated movie, Brendo?
Most hated, dude. I don't hate many things. Like even The Last Jedi. After watching it, I watched it once in the theater, and then the second time I watched it was when it was released, and in video. And after watching it the second time, I was like, I don't know if I hate it that much. And then I talked to more people about it, and then watched it a third time, and then I was like, no, I don't like it at all. It's really bad. But I don't know. I find it hard to say that I hate it, but I mean, I would probably say that that's one of my most disliked movies. You know, to me, hate is a very strong word. You know, for that kind of thing. But you know, I'm not as horrifically passionate about hating it as.
This guy's a hater right here, man. There you go.
It's his whole top five.
But-
I am a proud hater of that movie.
Yeah.
Proud hater.
But I don't know. To me, I don't hate movies. I just think they're bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
What's
so
one
like-
that's
so like-
like the
well,
most bad that you've
Yeah.
watched?
Okay, then.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, the ones that I mentioned, like, you know, Civil Act or Island of Dr. Moreau, where it's like I couldn't even watch the movie, you know, most of it. It was just that terrible of a film, you know. But I don't know if there's, you know, I've watched a movie where I was, you know, sat through it and was like, fuck that movie, you know.
Like throwing things at the screen.
You piece of garbage.
Throwing tomatoes at Fozzie Bear, like.
Yeah, and it's like, ah. It's like, no, I don't know if I have. I would list out the ones that I just didn't like, you know, or that I thought were terrible films.
Got it. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are coming up on 2 hours.
Good lord,
Yeah, I know,
Good
right?
times.
It goes by
Jesus.
like
Goes by
this.
fast.
I know.
can't believe I could talk to you this long.
I know. It's
Really quick before we end, I'll never forget how you described Brandon because before I met you, he's like that character from Three's Company.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Larry?
the guy that's always like, 2 chicks, my apartment right now. You know, it's like,
I'm in with that.
I knew he'd be a fun
I
guy when you
approve.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
you're-
hope I didn't disappoint.
No, not at all.
you're the lovable sitcom character that's always like trying to get into hijinks with like girls or like you just kind of like you have crazy schemes and you're a lot of
I
fun.
like those schemes, man.
Yeah,
Mm.
that
Yeah.
all sounds fun. I'm in. I like that description.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really happy that you were able to come out.
So am I.
It's just a long time coming. Glad we got a chance to catch up. That we learned some new things about you and
Some funny stories about this guy.
yeah, exactly. You know, that's like you know the great thing about this. You know, when we bring on people, even when we know them quite well, we learn a lot of new stuff that's
Yeah.
going on. And yeah, just really happy that you came on. And,
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We had a blast.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Covered a variety of topics.
Seriously.
Your
Yeah.
daughter, being a dad, to movies, to soccer games, fights.
yeah.
K-Rage.
K-Rage.
Yeah.
Robert being whooped.
No, that's
And
That,
of course, Star
yeah,
Wars.
that's yeah.
yeah,
That's got to be correct. That needs to be corrected.
Updates every episode, right?
yeah.
But it always works out.
Always.
That's
Joyce.
what we learned. It
Hey,
always
Joyce,
works out.
It always
has
been to
worked
work out.
That's
it always
my
worked out.
that's my motto. Life always ends.
It
up
always
working
works out.
It does. Work out.
Does it though?
It does. It might not work out in my favor, but it works.
It works out for someone.
Someone's favor.
Someone.
It always
Your
works out for
expense.
It
someone.
worked out for
Not
somebody.
always for me, but for someone.
But for someone.
But anyways,
Good times.
yeah. Thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Yeah, of
It
course.
was-
Thanks
Brandon.
for
Come
having
back
me.
anytime.
come on anytime.
Awesome.
Love to come
Again,
back.
Anytime, dude. Anytime.
Well, that's all we have for this week's episode. We have our social medias. We have on the Twitter, we're at podcastcoj. Our Instagram is Andy. What's our podcast or our Instagram?
Circle of Jerks podcast.
At
Whoop,
Circle of
whoop.
Jerks Podcast.
Simple enough.
And you can follow us on our social medias. We do follow back. We do interact with you guys. And on YouTube, you go to our Circle of Jerks podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Comment.
Subscribe, guys.
Yes.
Make sure if you do subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you get new updates for little video updates, live streams that we do during the week, and whatever else we're putting up. So until next time, it's been real.
It's been real.
Peace out.
Later.